Unleash the miraculous wealth code. Manifest money, love, and divine wonders in 3 prophetic days. The words floated through the cool air of St. Jude's parish like sweet incense, electrifying the hearts of all who gathered. Lucy, a devoted single mother, could hardly breathe as she clutched her son David's hand amid the flickering candlelight. She had come seeking miracles, praying fervently for divine intervention in their lives. The church was alive with palpable energy. As each villager stepped inside, the atmosphere shimmered with expectancy. The scent of burning frankincense enveloped them, creating a sacred cocoon. A chorus of soft whispers and murmured prayers rose in unison, as if reaching towards the heavens, urging God to act. He did it for them, Lucy thought, recalling the miracles recounted by her parish friends. Can he do it for us? In the first gathering, an elder spoke of miraculous provisions. As Lucy listened, her heart beat faster. Stories of financial blessings, unexpected gifts, and healings rushed over her like waves, stirring her weary spirit. She closed her eyes, envisioning heaven's bountiful grace. But doubt lurked at the corners of her faith. What if her prayers were unheard? On the second day, a radiant light seemed to pour through the stained glass windows, wrapping the worshippers in warmth. A bold voice echoed, a prophetic word for Lucy, promising abundance, hope, and divine provision. Tears streamed down her cheeks. That flicker of hope blazed brighter, igniting her soul. But in an agonizing twist, a terrifying medical bill for David arrived at her doorstep, suffocating the joy she just felt. She stood trembling, contemplating choices that felt unfair, perhaps even wrong. Before despair could clutch her heart tightly, an unexpected communion of voices surrounded her. Villagers rallied for Lucy, their prayers rising like fragrant smoke. "God will provide," one shouted, and others echoed in fervent agreement. The confidence of her family and faith ignited a flicker inside her, a glimmer of courage to resist compromise. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. On the final evening of the retreat, the air was thick with tension and expectation. Lucy could feel the weight of the moment. A stranger, a benevolent soul, stepped forward, holding an envelope bursting with cash, an answer to prayer meant especially for her. Gasps erupted from the congregation. Lucy felt her knees weaken. This powerful act of kindness transformed her anguish into healing joy, flooding her heart with gratitude so profound it felt like liquid light. "God sees us," she whispered, overwhelmed by her community's love, their faith clashing triumphantly against her doubts. As the retreat closed, they all embraced, galaxies of hope expanding within them. But in Lucy's heart, a question lingered. What does it mean to truly rely on God rather than strive for self-sufficiency? Would her newfound trust hold firm against future storms? With lingering doubts about the miraculous abundance they had witnessed, Lucy knew she stood on a precipice of awareness, ready for the next chapter of divine adventure yet uncertain of what lay ahead. The air buzzed with potential, excitement crackling as they entered an unseen realm of faith, together, all of them, ready for the next miracle. The dawn of a new day broke over St. Jude's parish, painting the church in golden hues. Lucy awoke with a sense of purpose coursing through her veins. Yesterday had been a day of revelation, today felt like a new beginning. With David still asleep, she sat by the window, the warmth of sunlight caressing her face. This was a sign, she thought, a gentle reminder that light always follows darkness. She opened her Bible, flipping through the pages until they settled on a familiar verse. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." The words resonated deep within her. She'd been leaning too much on her own strength, fighting battles alone. But now, with her community's miraculous support, she began to grasp the true essence of faith, not just believing in God's provisions, but actively trusting in Him. As she prepared breakfast for David, the fragrant aroma of pancakes filled the air, blending surprisingly well with the lingering scent of frankincense still echoing in her home. Lucy smiled, sensing the divine presence in her kitchen. But before joy could take root in her heart, the cruel reality of her financial burdens crashed into her thoughts once more. The medical bills loomed like dark clouds overhead. A voice in her mind wrestled with the joy she had felt. What will happen next? Can this unity last? Just as despair threatened to sink its teeth into her spirit, David emerged, his sleepy eyes sparkling with innocence. He wrapped his little arms around her, and in that moment she knew that love was their true wealth. Days passed, and whispers of miracles continued to flow through the village. The people around her began sharing not only testimonies of financial gifts, but also intimate stories of resilience, love, and hope. Lucy found herself enveloped in this wave of fellowship. Each story fueled her faith further, showing her that God worked in ways often unrecognized or unseen. At the next meeting in the church, Lucy couldn't help but stand up, her heart beat wildly. "I want to share something," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm learning that faith is a path, not just a destination. I had doubts, but so many of you rallied around me. It ignited a new light inside. I now understand that trusting in God means surrendering my worries." Nods of agreement filled the room. Villagers leaned in closer, drawn to her sincerity. It felt like they were collectively breathing in that same air of divine connection, a communion not just of voices, but of souls. Lucy noticed smiles blooming around her, hearts resonating like strings of a vibrant instrument, harmonizing in their mutual journey to trust. But as the meeting progressed, a stranger unexpectedly entered the church. He looked lost, both in spirit and solace. His appearance sent a ripple of concern through the congregation. With hesitance, Lucy approached him. "Are you all right?" she asked, her voice gentle yet firm. His eyes welled with tears, and he shared his struggles: financial ruin, the loss of a loved one, and the heavy burden of despair. Lucy felt a pang in her heart. She remembered her own struggles, the fear that once wrapped around her like a shroud, and within her she felt a stirring urge to help, to act in faith. "God provides," she whispered, almost to herself. But she knew this wasn't just for her anymore. What if they could band together as a community to uplift this stranger as they had uplifted her? So Lucy turned to the villagers. "Let's extend our love," she urged. "Let's show him that faith can turn into action." At that moment, she realized her journey of faith had evolved from personal to collective. It wasn't only about receiving blessings, it was also about being a blessing. As this thought sank deep into her heart, a sense of divine urgency enveloped the town in newfound unity. But what awaited Lucy and her community when they attempted to lift another? Was this act of kindness the true test of their faith? As voices mingled with newfound commitment in prayer, anticipation filled the air, and Lucy couldn't shake off the feeling that their journey was just beginning. In the days that followed, the atmosphere around St. Jude's parish grew thick with hope, as if the very air pulsated with divine expectancy. Lucy found herself waking up each morning with renewed purpose, each new dawn feeling like a canvas waiting for paint strokes of miracles. The villagers, stirred by her passionate plea, began to come together in ways she never imagined. They held daily gatherings, transforming their church basement into a hub of shared stories and collective prayers. Lucy watched as neighbors exchanged not only words of encouragement, but also practical help, food, clothing, and even small monetary gifts. It was a simple act, yet it reverberated like thunder in their hearts. Each time someone stepped forward to share their own challenges, the community rallied even stronger. One evening, as the sun began to dip low, golden light spilling through the stained glass windows, a beautiful sister named Miriam, known for her unwavering faith, approached Lucy. "Let's start a community project," Miriam suggested, her eyes shining with excitement. "We could create a fund for those among us who need a little extra help. With what God has provided us, we can bless others abundantly." The idea sparked something vibrant in Lucy's heart. "Yes," she exclaimed, "we can host a fundraising event, like a dinner, with folks contributing what they can. It can be a celebration of love and faith." As plans fell into place, Lucy felt a swell of joy wash over her. It wasn't merely about raising money, it was an opportunity to shine a spotlight on their collective faith and resilience. "Let's invite everyone," she said, her voice full of passion. Let's gather not just for ourselves, but to spread the love of Christ. As the big night approached, word spread like wildfire through the village. On the day of the event, the church hall transformed into something spectacular. Bright banners adorned the walls, and tables were covered in homespun tablecloths, filled with delicious dishes that Aunt Martha, the unofficial cook of the parish, had eagerly prepared. Laughter and chatter filled the air, creating a symphony of shared community spirit. When Lucy stood at the front, her voice quivered with emotion as she thanked everyone for their outpouring of love. "We are not just here to feed our bellies tonight," she reminded them gently. "We're here to nourish our souls and lift each other up." Each plate served is a testament to the abundance God has blessed us with. As the evening rolled on, an unexpected moment shone brightly. The stranger who had come to their meeting materialized, his eyes glistening as he re-entered the space filled with hope. "I can't believe I'm here," he said, his voice breaking. "Just days ago I was so lost, but this community—" He paused, overcome with emotion. "You've shown me what it means to truly believe." A wave of compassion swept over the room. People reached out, hugging him, and tears flowed freely. It felt like a wave of grace was washing over them. And in that moment, Lucy realized they weren't just lifting one person. Together, they were lifting the entire community. That night ended with prayers that danced through the air like flames of a holy fire. The villagers poured their hearts out in gratitude. They prayed for not just their needs, but for the strength to bless others with their abundance. However, in the midst of the joy, Lucy found herself lingering on a thought. What awaited her and her community on this path of faith that seemed to deepen each day? With their hearts in alignment and love as their guide, she sensed a divine challenge ahead. And just as the final amen echoed through the hall, she found herself whispering a silent prayer. "Lord, reveal your plan for us." It was a simple request, yet it felt weighty with eagerness, like standing on the edge of a cliff, yearning for the leap of faith that awaited. What would they discover in the days to come? The days that followed were filled with an electric anticipation. Lucy felt like a vessel, cradling the hopes of her community. Each time she entered the church hall, she could almost hear the whispers of faith reverberating off the stone walls. The air felt charged, and her heart raced as she thought of what was yet to come. Word spread beyond the village, drawing in weary souls from neighboring towns. With each newcomer, the spirit of connection seemed to grow, nourishing the roots of their mission. A diverse tapestry of individuals, each bearing their own stories, began to interlace in this sacred space. Prayers poured forth like raindrops from a heavenly sky, bathing the hall in warmth. One sunny afternoon, Lucy sat with Sister Miriam over cups of steaming tea. "What did you feel, Miriam, in that moment of prayer the other night?" she asked, her eyes searching for answers in the older woman's wise gaze. "The presence of the Lord," Sister Miriam replied, her voice soft yet firm. "It was like a gentle embrace, a recognition that we are truly on the cusp of something magnificent." Lucy's heart quickened. "And what do you think God is planning for us?" The question lingered in the air, filled with promise. "Sometimes," Miriam replied thoughtfully, "when God prepares a road, He may not reveal the entire map. He wants us to trust Him step by step." As a wave of understanding washed over Lucy, she felt a determined spark ignite. "Then let's step boldly," she declared, her eyes lifting to the stained glass overhead, where rays of color cascaded like blessings. Plans intensified for the community dinner. More musicians arrived to share their talents, eager to give back through song. Each person was ready to share their gifts, like loaves and fishes, hoping to create a feast for both body and spirit. The night of the dinner drew nearer, and the church buzzed with activity. Children helped run decorations across tables, their laughter interspersing the air like notes from a cherished hymn. The kitchen was alive with the sound of clinking pots and bubbling pots. Yet within all this joyous preparation, Lucy felt a flicker of unease. Would their hopes and endeavors be enough? On the day of the event, Lucy stood once more before her neighbors, the weight of their collective faith heavy on her heart. Clad in her best dress, she looked out at those gathered. Every face told a story, every smile fueled a belief. "Let us remember, we are not simply gathering for a meal," she intoned, her voice ringing out with fervor, "but to sow seeds of love and trust into each other's lives. Each act of kindness tonight is heaven's response to our prayers." The laughter and applause rose like sweet melodies, igniting the atmosphere. Spirits soared as the evening unfolded, mingling deeply with laughter and joy. But even amidst the festive air, a nagging thought tugged at Lucy's mind. As they embraced this beautiful community of faith, what would they face when the night came to a close? Would they find what they truly sought? As the evening drew to its climax, Lucy took a moment to step outside, the cool breeze brushing against her cheeks. Stars twinkled above, like divine blessings casting their gaze upon the gathering below. She whispered another prayer. God, whatever you have next for us, please prepare our hearts. Just then, she caught sight of something flickering in the distance beneath a great tree. Was it a light? Or perhaps a sign? The mystery unfurled as anticipation danced in her heart. What revelation awaited her and her community as they followed this path illuminated by faith? What divine plan could be concealed in that mysterious glow? Curiosity gripped Lucy as she squinted into the night. The flicker beneath the grand oak beckoned with a hypnotic pulse, like a heartbeat echoing in the stillness. She stepped closer, her steps light and hesitant. A mixture of trepidation and excitement fluttered in her stomach as she approached the source of the glow. As Lucy neared, she recognized the light emanated from a small lantern, its soft illumination casting dancing shadows on the ground. But it wasn't the lantern itself that drew her attention. It was what sat beside it, a large weathered book bound in deep brown leather, the pages slightly yellowed with age, resting on the grass like a forgotten treasure. Kneeling, Lucy gently brushed her fingers over the cover. A sense of reverence swept through her. This wasn't just an ordinary book. It felt sacred, imbued with stories longing to be told. She opened it slowly, heart hammering with each turn of the page, each word spilling forth like a whispered prayer. Yet the words shimmered mysteriously as if imbued with life. They spoke of hope, of faith, and of the miraculous. Each verse seemed to resonate with the very essence of her community. Its struggles, its dreams, its unwavering belief in something greater. "Oh God, is this a gift for us?" she whispered. A soft breeze rustled the leaves overhead, and Lucy felt a warmth envelop her, as if the universe responded. She looked around, half expecting to see Sister Miriam or a familiar face come to share in this discovery, but the night remained still and secretive. She continued to read, entranced. The verses revealed stories of divine provision, miraculous healings, and community transformations. It was as if the book held the key to unlocking a destiny woven through faith, a guidebook for what her community could become. A sound behind her broke her concentration. Turning, Lucy found several community members approaching, drawn by the warmth of the lantern, their eyes wide with wonder. In an instant, the air buzzed with curiosity. "Lucy, what have you found?" Fred, the local carpenter, asked, moving in closer. With her breath caught in her throat, Lucy shared the vision she saw in those pages. She talked about the dreams of abundance, relationships blossoming in love, and the divine wonders waiting to be unleashed in their lives. Excited murmurs rippled through the crowd, and faces lit up with a new hope. "Do you think it's possible?" asked Eliza, a single mother with a fragile but tenacious spirit. Lucy felt a surge of conviction rise within her. If God is with us, if we walk together in faith, then all things are possible. Together they formed a circle, holding hands under the fragile light. As they bowed their heads, Lucy led them in prayer, invoking the promise of abundance and miracles. Each petition soared upward like sweet incense, mingling with the night sky. Yet as they prayed, Lucy sensed an undercurrent of something more. Was it excitement? Yes, but also uncertainty. What would it take to realize these visions? What trials would test their resolve? The prayer concluded, and the ambiance crackled with renewed spirit. One by one, they shared their deepest desires, their longings for financial security, loving relationships, and a community that thrived together. Then Lucy glimpsed something remarkable. The sky above transformed, shimmering colors twinkling like blessings on the horizon. A gentle glow seemed to wrap around them, a celestial embrace promising that something extraordinary was near. In that holy moment, Lucy felt the weight of communal faith rise to meet her. The lantern flickered brightly, illuminating the paths ahead. What awaited them now felt monumental. The stirrings of something like a divine reveal coursed through her, igniting both hope and trepidation in her heart. What divine wonders would unfold as they journeyed courageously into this unveiled future? Could they truly transform their hopes into reality? As the night deepened, a new adventure beckoned, and it was time to step boldly into the light. In the stillness of the night, as the last echoes of prayer faded, a palpable shift enveloped the gathering. The flickering lantern seemed to hum with energy, resonating with the collective heartbeats of those present. Lucy, still kneeling, looked up at their faces, expectant, weary, hopeful. "Did you feel that?" Fred asked, his brow furrowed, searching for understanding in the celestial brightness above them. "Yes," Lucy exclaimed, almost breathless. "It's as if heaven is responding, urging us to embrace our purpose. We were meant to find this book, and every promise it holds." With fire in her spirit, she whispered, "What if we each claim those blessings tonight? We must not just believe, we must act." The community members exchanged glances, some nodding with hesitant enthusiasm, while others looked uncertain. Eliza squeezed Lucy's hand tightly. "What's the first step?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Speaking through the trembling excitement in her heart, Lucy suggested, "Let's write down our dreams and fears. They'll be our guide, reminding us of our intentions." The group dispersed briefly, gathering scraps of paper and pens from their pockets or backpacks. As they returned to the circle, the atmosphere pulsed with purpose. One by one, they began to share. "I want to be able to provide for my children," Eliza said, tears brimming in her eyes, "to give them a better life." Fred, his sturdy hands shaking, added, "To rebuild the community center, we need a place to gather, to grow." Lucy took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every story being shared, imagining the threads of their lives weaving together in a tapestry of hope. "And I want our families to be healed, to support one another through the struggles we're facing." As the lantern flickered, illuminating their humble dreams, Lucy began to see patterns rise from the darkness. She felt the divine drawing near, encouraging each of them to be bold and brave. "Let us take these dreams to the pages of the book," she urged. "Let's inscribe our hopes, each word a prayer, each line a declaration of faith. Let's speak these truths into existence." The group, overwhelmed with purpose, began scribing their dreams into the soft pages of the ancient book. Each word felt alive, vibrant with expectation, as they witnessed their aspirations materialize in ink, their hopes transforming into shared intentions. Suddenly, a rustling sound drew their attention back to the starry sky. A shooting star painted a brilliant arc, flooding the night with luminous light. Gasps escaped their lips as a sense of divine approval washed over them. It was as if heaven had smiled, sending a resounding confirmation of their united prayers. The moment felt sacred, electric, a reminder that they were not alone. "What now?" whispered one of the neighbors, her voice catching in her throat as they all turned to Lucy. Lucy felt a profound determination rise within her. "We keep moving forward, together, trusting that God will open doors we never dreamed possible." As the lantern's light danced and twinkled, the community's energy lifted like a fragrant offering, filling the night air with excitement and resilience. Each person's presence became a promise, their faith intertwined, standing strong against whatever trials lay ahead. But just as hope surged anew, Lucy felt a flicker of fear. What challenges awaited? This was merely the beginning. As they stood in that sacred circle, arms linked and hearts intertwined, they sensed the presence of something monumental about to unfold. How far would their faith take them? What trials might tempt them away from their divine purpose? The night glowed softly, a harbinger of the journey that lay ahead, a path rich with potential and fraught with uncertainty. Little did they know, their remarkable journey was just beginning, and the divine wonders they sought might require more than they ever expected to give. What trials would test them on this path, and what miracles awaited at the journey's end? As the circle settled into a reverent hush, the warm glow of the lantern continued to cradle their hopeful hearts. A gentle breeze stirred, causing the flames to dance anxiously, as if the very air around them buzzed with the vibrations of their desires. Lucy glanced at each face before her, a mosaic of dedication wrapped in fragile hopes. "Let's take time to reflect," she suggested softly. What is it that truly holds us back? What fears do we need to confront? The group fell silent, pondering her words as the flickering light cast fleeting shadows over their faces. After a moment, Fred broke the quiet. I worry that we might fail. What if we put ourselves out there and nothing changes? His voice trembled with unspoken vulnerability. Addressing his fear, Lucy said gently, But what if we succeed? What if we find strength in our faith and bring change into our lives? Murmurs of agreement reverberated through the circle. One by one, they shared their hesitations. I fear rejection, Eliza confessed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. What if the community doesn't support our vision? Lucy felt the weight of her friend's burdens. Let us remember that God is the architect of our dreams. Our role is to build on that foundation with unity and trust. Let's keep our faith strong. We have to believe in each other. The lantern flickered as if echoing her words, amplifying the warmth of their connection. In that magical moment, Lucy recognized the truth. Their fears, while daunting, could be the very catalyst for growth. I want us to lean into our insecurities, she urged. Embrace them. Let those shadows not be blind spots, but rather stepping stones towards the light. Suddenly, a grand gust of wind swept through the circle, rustling their papers and filling the air with a sense of urgency, a reminder that they had a choice to make. They could face their fears or let them loom ominously like storm clouds overhead. As the tension ebbed, Eliza voiced what many were feeling. So how do we find the courage? How do we move past this? By supporting one another, came Lucy's immediate reply, her heart ablaze. If we walk together, no darkness can cast a shadow too long. Each communal step forward is a testament to our faith. Let's step into our blessings boldly. With renewed energy, they took a collective breath, their spirits synchronized as if caught in an invisible dance. They began to chant soft affirmations, their voices rising skyward, echoes of faith mingling with the night. I am strong, Fred proclaimed, his voice steadying. I am resilient. Eliza joined in, her fear melting away. Lucy felt the power surge among them, a wave of healing coursing through the circle. And together, we are unstoppable, she declared, each word becoming a seed of transformation planted with intention. As their affirmations rippled into the air, the lanterns seemed to glow brighter. In those moments, doubt turned to purpose, and fears shifted into faith. But as they celebrated this newfound strength, a distant rumbling caught their attention, a sign that perhaps their journey would not be purely a walk in the light. What's that? A worried voice broke through the joy, causing their gaze to turn skyward. Dark clouds formed at the horizon, rolling towards them as the wind escalated. Lucy shifted uneasily, heart racing. God will guide us through the storm, she reminded them, but uncertainty stretched across their faces. They had claimed their vision. Now they might need to withstand the trials that tested their resolve and unity. As the first raindrops began to fall, each drop felt heavy with potential. A divine reminder that blessings often come in the midst of storms. What challenges lay hidden within those brewing clouds? Would their faith be enough to weather the tempest? Would they stand firm together as they faced what could be the crucible of their dreams? The rain intensified, each droplet like a reminder of the struggles they had promised to face together. The winds howled, yet amidst the chaos, Lucy felt an inexplicable calm within her heart. It was as if God whispered assurances in her ear, reminding her of the strength born from unity and faith. She could see her friends clenching their fists, resolute in their convictions despite the turmoil. Stay close, everyone, she called out, raising her voice against the rising winds. We're in this together. The group huddled tighter, their bodies interlinking as they formed a human shield against the storm. Fred looked to Lucy, eyes wide with a blend of fear and determination. Will we be okay, Lucy? He asked, his voice trembling. Faith isn't the absence of fear, she answered, her hands gripping his shoulder. It's the choice to trust God no matter what. This storm cannot deter us. It can only mold us. Eliza, catching fire from Lucy's words, nodded fiercely. Let's remind ourselves of our purpose. Our vision is greater than this moment. With that, they began to chant again, voices lifted against the wrath of the storm. We are strong. We are united. We will overcome. The words soared, filling the air with vibrations of assurance. Then something remarkable happened. As they sang, a brilliant flash of light illuminated the dark clouds swirling above. It wasn't the fleeting glow of lightning. It felt deeper, a radiant reminder of divine presence. The storm, fierce as it was, could not silence their song. "I can see it!" Fred shouted, pointing toward the horizon. "The clouds, they are breaking!" Indeed, as the chants of faith echoed, the dark mass began to part, revealing golden rays piercing through, like hands reaching down to touch them. The fervor of their belief seemed to pull back the veil of darkness, the very heavens responding to their cries. "This is just the beginning," Lucy proclaimed, her spirit ignited. "God is affirming our vision, showing us what's possible when we stand together." In that moment, the rain felt like a rejuvenation rather than a burden, washing away their doubts and fears. Each drop transformed into a blessing, carrying with it hope and renewal. They closed their eyes, feeling the warmth of the light surrounding them. A hush enveloped the circle as the distant rumble of thunder became muffled, replaced by a profound peace. With every breath, they inhaled possibility, exhaling the fears that had once held them captive. Lucy opened her eyes to meet the gaze of her friends. "Today is pivotal, not just for us, but for our community. We are on the brink of something miraculous, and we must lean into this moment." With renewed fire in their hearts, they each made silent promises, burying their fears deep within the light of that divine glow. Would they be bold enough to accept the challenges ahead? Could they handle what lay beyond the storm? As the last gust of wind swept past, leaving only the gentle patter of rain, a sense of anticipation charged the air. They had faced the storm together, and with faith as their anchor, the challenge had only strengthened their resolve. But even as hope soared, an unmistakable shadow lingered at the edge of their joy. What awaited them next? What reality would their faith now invoke as they ventured beyond this threshold? The circle remained aglow, their faith a beacon even amidst uncertainty. For God was leading them somewhere transformative, and they sensed the wind whispering hints of all yet to come. Would they be ready for the challenges, lessons, and blessings still to unfold? The air trembled with an electric sense of change, and as the storm's remnants settled around them, a new clarity became evident. Lucy's heart beat strongly within her chest, resonating with an energy that felt both foreign and familiar. It was a divine invitation, whispering new possibilities like a soft breeze cascading through an open window. "Look!" Eliza pointed to the sky, her voice laced with awe. A rainbow had emerged, arching gracefully beneath the remnants of clouds, its colors vibrant against the blue. It felt as if God was painting a promise across the heavens. "His covenant!" Fred exclaimed, stepping forward, eyes wide. "This is a sign. He's with us." Lucy nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "Yes, the rainbow isn't just a symbol. It's our reminder that even after storms, there's beauty and hope." As the group stared at the radiant display, they felt the collective heaviness of their fears lift. They were no longer just individuals facing down their personal storms. They were united in a community of hope and purpose. "Let's celebrate," Eliza suggested, her spirit bubbling over with joy. "Let's share our dreams and aspirations. What do we want to manifest in our lives now?" "Imagine what we could accomplish together," Fred urged. "What if we each spoke our dreams aloud? There's power in sharing." Lucy smiled, warmed by the thought. "Yes, let's declare our desires. Let's envision a future where our dreams align and unfold with God's gracious guidance." One by one, they began to share. Eliza dreamed of opening a center for children in need, a place filled with love and creativity. Fred spoke of wanting to reconnect with estranged family members, seeking healing and reconciliation. Each voice shared visions of abundant love, community support, and new opportunities. For Lucy, as she took her turn, the words slipped from her tongue almost like a prayer. "I envision a community ignited by faith, a place where we uplift one another and inspire change. I want to see how our faith can transform lives." As she spoke, she felt the power of their shared faith grow, weaving an invisible thread among them. An overwhelming warmth enveloped her, as if God himself was listening, his heart echoing every declaration. The atmosphere thickened with anticipation. They were no longer in a temporary moment of resolution, they were participants in a divine orchestration. But then came a stillness that made her heart race. A soft rustling interrupted their fervor. Something shifted in the air. It was then that Lucy noticed a figure emerging from the mist, shadowed but undeniably present. It was a person, cloaked in a shimmer that seemed to dance with every step. "Who are you?" she called, voice ringing with curious authority. The figure stepped closer, revealing a gentle face that radiated serenity. "I am a messenger, sent to guide you on your journey. Your faith has summoned me, and your desires shall be met. But there are trials ahead." A murmur passed through the group, half in fear, half in reverence. "What kind of trials?" Fred asked, swallowing hard. "Trials of faith," the messenger replied, voice smooth as oil, yet weighted with importance. "Each challenge will test your resolve, but they are necessary for what is yet to be revealed." The group exchanged glances, uncertainty rippling through them. They felt the warmth of their hopes clashing with the weight of this new revelation. What trials lay ahead? Would they falter or remain steadfast? In that moment, the messenger raised a hand, a finger pointing toward the horizon where the storm clouds had dispersed. "Only by embracing these trials will you discover the divine wonders awaiting you. Prepare yourselves, for miracles are near." A sense of urgency surged through Lucy and her friends, leaving them breathless. They stood on the precipice of the unknown, and their faith trembled with the magnitude of what was to come. Would they be courageous enough to face the trials needed to fulfill their dreams? Would they hold on to the faith that had brought them this far? The messenger stepped back, and as they watched, a glowing path appeared, leading from where they stood into the luminous expanse of the horizon. What awaited them would surely be a journey of faith, but the true question lingered, a question yet to be answered. Would they dare to walk that path together? As dawn broke over St. Jude's parish, a brilliant light flooded through the trees, illuminating the faces of Lucy and her friends. The air shifted, charged with a divine promise. They stood together, hearts racing, inexplicably drawn to the glowing path that lay before them. "Are we ready for this?" Fred's voice quavered, uncertainty evident in his eyes. Lucy turned to him, her heart swelling with a fire only faith could ignite. "This is the moment we've prayed for. God is leading us. Together we will embrace whatever comes our way." With a collective breath, they took the first step onto the radiant trail. The path shimmered beneath their feet, as if affirming their commitment to move forward. Each stride they took felt like an act of defiance against doubt and fear, the very essence of their community thrumming in rhythm with the heartbeat of hope. Lights danced around them, illuminating the way as they walked deeper into the unknown. At first, the landscape shifted, filled with imagery that echoed their shared dreams, vibrant colors that reflected love, joy, and healing. Eliza pointed ahead, eyes shining. "Look at the manifestation of everything we've envisioned." Yet even amidst this vivid scenery, shadows began to creep in, lingering doubt worming its way into their hearts. The messenger's words echoed in Lucy's mind. Trials of faith. Before they could dwell, darkness surged forth, cloaking the path in doubt. They found themselves facing struggles. Personal fears surfaced like stormy clouds, threatening to pull them apart. Lucy was met with doubts that whispered she wasn't enough. Fred struggled with feelings of guilt for past decisions. Eliza grappled with anxiety about her dreams, afraid of letting others down. But through the haze of fear, Lucy recalled the collective strength they had cultivated. "We're still together," she reminded them, voice rising above the whispering doubts. "Faith is believing even in the shadows. Let's confront these trials head on." With renewed determination, they clasped each other's hands, forming an unbreakable bond. The more they shared their fears, the weaker they became. "I feel inadequate," Fred shouted. "I worry that I don't deserve this dream." Lucy squeezed his hand. "Say it out loud. Let's break the power of those lies together." "I'm worthy," Fred shouted, his voice rising defiantly. "I'm brave," Eliza cried, tears brimming in her eyes. "I won't hold back." With each declaration, their fears transformed. The shadows started to recede, light pouring in. They began to understand a powerful truth. The trials were but stepping stones towards their divine abundance. "I see it now," Lucy exclaimed, the weight of understanding flooding her spirit. "Our faith is proven by our willingness to face these challenges. We mustn't shy away. We've already come this far. Let's move forward with intention." As they moved past the remnants of doubt, the path opened up once more, revealing a landscape glistening with hope, a community gathering, propelled by love. Villagers stood at the edge, anticipation painted across their faces, hearts ready to join in collective transformation. This is the moment. Lucy felt an unexplainable peace wash over her, an assurance that they were not alone in their journey. When they stepped into that space filled with joy, it felt as if heaven itself rejoiced. The congregation erupted into cheers, embracing them like long-lost kin. Lucy's heart swelled with a gratitude so fierce that tears spilled over. "We did it," she thought, overwhelmed with warmth. "Together we faced the storm and emerged alive with faith." Standing together in front of their beloved community, the villagers surrounded them, eager to contribute and support. "We believe in you," a voice rang out, followed by a chorus of affirmations. Lucy took a moment, her gaze sweeping over each familiar face. Their struggles had intertwined, creating a beautiful tapestry of resilience. "Thank you," she breathed, her voice strong yet soft. "We will nurture these dreams together." Suddenly the messenger appeared once more, ethereal and radiant. "Your hearts have ignited a flame of divine favor, a portal of miracles, but your journey is ongoing. Prepare for even greater wonders." The community erupted into joyous laughter, anticipation swirling in the air, transcending the mundane into the miraculous. Each person stood ready, heart at the ready. "Let's join together in prayer," Lucy called out, her spirit ignited. As they all bowed their heads, she felt the warmth of the collective trust envelop them all. "God," she began, voice steady, "universal architect of hope and miracles, we stand united in faith. Help us remain brave and enduring as we journey. May our challenges refine us and our victories grow us together." As they prayed, the atmosphere shimmered with divine presence. Each soul felt uplifted, ignited by the shared unity, and as light enveloped them, Lucy understood. This was just the beginning. Together, as a community, they had already begun to manifest the miraculous. With faith guiding them, nothing could extinguish the hope they had cultivated. Lucy opened her eyes, sensing a deeper call. A vibrant adventure lay ahead. The light beckoned them forward, through trials and triumphs, into the arms of grace waiting just beyond. Now they set forth, ready to step into a world ringing with divine abundance, love, and possibility. They were a community transformed, forever unwavering, forever faith-filled. Journey on, fearless and faithful. Wonders await. Don't miss the next divine journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support and be a true servant of God. Don't wait even one more second to share.